In the midst of this age of electricity, a 23-year-old Cornell University graduate stepped off a Mosquito steamer in Seattle in 1887. His name was Charles Hinckley Baker, and with a degree in civil engineering, he found work with the Seattle, Lakeshore, and Eastern Railroad.
I think that Charles Hinckley Baker was a young man who wanted to make his mark in the world and thought of that as being a good thing.
Early in the young engineer's career, he was assigned to plat an area of the Cascades that would lead him to a site that would spark his imagination.
The line passed within 50 feet of the great Snoqualmie Falls cataract, which at that time had no commercial value, and it was only thought of as a place of resort for fishermen, tourists, and campers. In the performance of my particular duties, there was hardly a week past that I did not see this wasting waterfall, and it came into my mind at that early time that someday its power would be carried to the distant cities for utilization there. Charles Hinckley Baker.
I think Charles Baker was looking for the excitement of discovery and creation. When Charles Baker saw this site, he saw an opportunity.
Baker fully understood the expense of excavating and transporting coal to fuel steam plants that powered the industries at the time, and saw the falls with its never-ending supply of water as a means to deliver power for a fraction of the cost. With dreams of his own, Baker left the railroad and started his own company to capitalize on the new technology of electricity. One of his first clients was Seattle pioneer David Denny, who hired Baker to build a streetcar line from downtown to the University District. With the assurances of Denny, one of Seattle's wealthiest businessmen, Baker extended his own line of credit, purchasing supplies, materials, and equipment to start the line's construction. But the panic of 1893 triggered a massive economic blow, wiping out Denny's entire fortune. Baker was left holding notes for $100,000 worth of unpaid bills. A 5-year depression left millions of men across the nation without jobs. Railroads went bankrupt, and investment capital evaporated. Under the pall of the 1893 Depression, the Chicago Columbian Exposition offered the optimism of the future. Charles's father, William Taylor Baker, was head of the Chicago Board of Trade and president of the 1893 Exposition. A friend of William Baker was invited to the exposition to demonstrate the capabilities of alternating current, a competing technology to Edison's direct current. At twilight on opening day, George Westinghouse threw the switch, illuminating 250,000 handmade electric light bulbs. Crowds stood in wonderment as building interiors and the grounds around the site glowed with electric light. The demonstration had once and for all proved the viability of alternating current. Its ability to transmit electricity over longer distances than Edison's direct current sparked the imagination of engineers across the country, who created designs utilizing this new technology. At Niagara Falls, the 167-foot drop inspired the construction of a hydroelectric plant that provided lights to Buffalo 26 miles away. Shortly thereafter, cheap and plentiful electricity lured a multitude of industries to the area. The Northwest, however, continued to languish in the Depression. Charles Baker was still deeply in debt and was forced to take a job as a receiver at Merchants National Bank. Though Baker's salary was meager, the job afforded him the time to explore the idea of hydroelectricity.
The power project developed more and more in my mind, expanding from the first thought of harnessing the cataract for near-at-hand uses only, until, as the science of transmission developed, my idea expanded accordingly, so that in a few years I had conceived a well-defined plan for utilizing the power of Snoqualmie Falls and transmitting it to Seattle for industrial and illuminating purposes. Charles Baker.
With an idea in mind and a naive enthusiasm, Charles traveled east to visit his father.
Charles' father, William Taylor Baker, was a civic leader in one of the most technologically progressive cities in America, in Chicago. Confidence in technology was very solid in terms of American business at that time.
I asked him to join me in this plan financially and to become interested equally with me as a partner, all of which interested him very greatly, for he had a mechanical mind in addition to his well-known business shrewdness and commercial instinct. When I left Chicago to return to Seattle, his last words in answer to my importunities were, "I will send you the money to buy the falls." Charles Baker.
It is very obvious that William Baker trusted his son and trusted his abilities. Very clear.
In the fall of 1898, armed with the support of his father, Charles set out to purchase the land that encompassed the falls.
A lady owned all the land around the falls, and someone was also trying to buy it, and he took great pride in the fact that he actually beat them to buying that land.
The Bakers gambled that the falls could generate power less expensively than the competing steam-driven power plants, further enticing industries to move to the growing cities of Seattle and Tacoma. But even beyond its industrial impact, Charles envisioned the potential of bringing affordable electricity to every Puget Sound resident.
I think he's overwhelmingly excited about the opportunity that electricity would give to the world.
To protect the project from Charles's creditors from his previous venture, father and son never reduced their arrangement to writing. Land purchases, equipment, and payroll for the newly established Snoqualmie Falls Power Company would all be under William's name.